it is a role model which other states should emulate also. In fact, now every year we have this Pravasiya Bharatiya Divas in New Delhi. I think the MOI perhaps should have a session exclusively on the new human smuggling legislation at the forthcoming Divas, which is going to be held in January 2011.
Now, the Punjab Prevention of Human Smuggling Act, it requires the travel agents to have a minimum educational qualification, to give a bank guarantee of 10 lakhs, and it even imposes very heavy penalty in case of anyone indulging in fraud. Their license can be cancelled, and there are a large number of things in the act. Do you think the act is far too harsh?
It has to be really implemented, and implemented through a regulatory body. Not just the government can do everything on their own. They need to set up a regulatory body like all other countries have. Like in Canada, there is CSIC, there is MARA, there is Nizami, there is OSIC in London. So all they do regulate these consultants. The government can become the watchdog. The requirements what they have put are good. These requirements, when we made this association in 2002, we've done even more requirements than this to become a member.
Mr. Badal, there is a feeling that it is far too harsh in this sense.
It is harsh.
It gives overriding powers to the police.
Yes, it is harsh. If it is misused, the corruption at the lower level of the police authorities will increase. They will be getting a free hand to enter anybody's office on a small complaint. Now, I've also read in that there are in the act which is proposed that somebody who goes to a country, whether he migrates or she goes there for studies, and he or she is not happy there with the course or the college, or they didn't get a job, so their relatives in India can even come and file a case. So which is definitely a little harsher step than the normal.
Overriding powers to the police, that is the feeling which is coming from some quarters. What are the checks on the police at the lower levels? We all know the police functioning at the lower levels.
Police has a power to investigate. Police has a power to register a case, and it is a normal criminal procedure of the country. Only thing in most of the acts it comes that this act will have overriding effect over other acts. But not only power to police, every provision of this will have an overriding effect over other provisions. So far as bank guarantee of 10 lakhs is concerned, I suppose it was a bare minimum required, because in Punjab any transaction in human trafficking is in lakhs only.
Mrs. Lesser, do you have similar acts in other countries from your knowledge?
Well, I'm not sure about other countries. I know in Canada we're currently, our parliament is looking at a national piece right now, and of course it's because it's being looked at. I'm not really in a position to comment on it, but yes, there are developments.
Mr. Malhotra, do other countries have such regulations?
Yes. Now, Mr. Handhu, I was the first lawyer in the country who studied comparative immigration nationality laws as part of my master's degree in the year 1992. They have a body called the Immigration Law Practitioners Association of London, right? Only if you are professionally qualified in immigration law, they take you on, and they are very well organized. Then you have the OISC, that is only for consultants. But I would like to come back to the issue of bank guarantees, which we were discussing earlier on. I think 10 lakhs is peanuts, as everybody feels. What could be done is this amount of the bank guarantee could be on an ad valorem basis as compared to the number of applications filed by any agent, operator, franchisee or whatever. And as Mr. Bhavra mentioned, there is going to be a steering committee. In fact, there should be some sort of a check or a mechanism on the consultants and the operators. They should file quarterly returns or maybe half-yearly returns saying that this was the number of applications filed by them. So there is some sort of check on them. And further on, as once in the legislation sees the light of the day, and the moment any travel agents are convicted or sort of blacklisted, there should be a dedicated website which should be sort of maintained by the steering committee, and such operators' licenses should not be renewed, and this could be done on an annual basis.
Right. Mr. Bhatt, there is a provision for a state travel agents regulator. Do you welcome that?
Yeah, it's a very good idea, but the body has to be, working at arm's length from the judicial body or the police body. There can be people involved in it who can be watchdogs, and this body should come out with all the code of ethics, all the list of agents should be there, and the public awareness should be there.
Mrs. Lesser, what else needs to be done to check illegal migration?
Well, I think we've hit on the most important. It's all about information. People simply have to understand It's that, first of all, and I'll tell you what I tell people when I have business meetings or other public meetings, I only say two things about immigration. One, everything's on the website. Everything about immigrating to Canada is on the website. And if we catch one, one falsehood in an application, it's out of the pile and gone. We have thousands of applications. We have to have a process of weeding through them. It's really that simple, and people need to understand that the information's out there. Some consultants are fantastic. There are many that are not. Fly-by-night ones, I agree. But for us, it's also the issue of how do we get that particular message to people. There are people in the countryside here who don't have the internet, of course, and aren't going to be able to go. And we recognize that. But we're looking for solutions from our partners here in how to get that information to them in the right way.
Mr. Bhavra, now you will be able to tackle the fraudulent travel agents, but there would be lots of ghost travel agents, who are not on the surface. So how do you deal with that?
See, I think as of now, many are ghost travel agents because no registration is required, no licensing is required. Once we have a new act in place, licensing will be required, and I'm sure after that the number of legitimate agents will be known to everyone, and any applicant who wants to apply, he knows where to go. And after that, definitely the number of ghosts I can only expect will come down.
Mr. Malhotra, what else in your opinion needs to be done to check illegal migration?
I have a question for Mr. Bath. Although I appreciate it's very nice, they have strict code for enrollment or membership. Now what you say these days in newspapers, huge catchy advertisements. If somebody advertises 682 visas issued in last 6 months, I've got offices in 26 countries. It's too sweet, too rosy, too tempting, too alluring. There should be an express prohibition, I strongly advocate, under the new legislation on advertisement by consultants, franchisees, operators. Because it's all one-sided information. You cannot check. And Mr.
But there is a check on organizing seminars now. That's a part of the act.
But you see, Mr. Sandhu, I just chip in one more thing. What happens is, in fact, media also has a role now to play, right? If it's a big immigration consultancy coming with full-page adverts week after week, it's an advertorial. It's revenue for the media, for the industry. And then I see some of the newspaper organizations honoring these operators, consultants, his so-called
Malhotra, let
entities.
me tell you, if the police acts, if the travel agents, act, if the media acts, the lawyers won't have a role at all.
No, lawyers are a very big catalyst.
You won't have the business.
We have to remain in business.
But tell me, after the act now, I believe some kind of rules will be framed. What kind of rules, in your opinion, need to
I
be framed?
think this is the most important aspect. I would in fact rather suggest to Mr. Bhavra and his colleagues who have been associated in drafting this legislation, there should be an expert steering committee. It should have people from diverse backgrounds. They can chip in. There are very important issues. Now starting from our friend Scott. Now one issue is, what is the definition of an aggrieved person? A foreign mission could well be an aggrieved person. They have so many complaints. Now you see, over the years trends have changed. The missions are coming forward. Right? Then you should have a dedicated website which has a list of proclaimed offenders. Now one more issue which is very important, which I have felt, is this law, the rules framed under this law should ban all commissions paid to student agents and franchises. If you analyze in the last 5-10 years, where has this problem stemmed from? It has taken a different dimension altogether. I went to the Golden Temple last year with my family, and while driving down to Amritsar, what I noticed, two kinds of boards dotted on the highway, even a small tiny village, Western Union and agents and operators. Because you see, what happens is, the agent gets a 10% of the fee from the university directly, right? But that is just a chicken feed. That has given fillip to another industry on the side. Then all these agents come up with so many
Mr.
bright
Bhavra,
ideas.
are these steps kind of being considered when you're framing the rules?
Yeah. First of all, let me clarify about the steering committee. Steering committee is not, when I mentioned, it is not according as per the act. It is before the act to deal with the illegal migration in general. So now coming to the rules, the section 22 of the act, it lays down which are the aspects to be covered by rules, and I'm sure in due course these will be taken into consideration for framing rules. Section 22, it lays down about 10-11 grounds. So all those will be covered.
Mr. Bath, any suggestion when the rules are being framed from your association?
Well, I would definitely like to interact more with the rules when they are properly framed, and We would like to be more close interaction with the government authorities like Canadian High Commission, with the police, with the British High Commission, with New Zealand, Australian High Commission, because now I think the time has come where the government of Punjab should, come out and, come out with these in a very firm way. Not only in Punjab, because there is already law exists under the Immigration Act, and as you said that there is no control. I would like to defer on that there was no act earlier in Punjab or there was no licensing, whereas there was a license issued by the Ministry of Overseas Affairs, which the local governments did not take action on it, that only people having with that.
But now Mr. Bhatt, I think the governments are kind of aware
Yes.
and
So
they are acting at this point.
yeah, they are
Let me
definitely.
clarify on this. What I was saying, the Immigration Act of 1983, it had a limited scope.
Yes.
First of all, it relates only to employment.
Yeah, employment.
It doesn't cover other aspects, like somebody going
This
in a
is far more
cricket team.
far more
complicated. And when we're running out of time,
It covered only few
Mr. Babra,
categories. Yeah.
are there any travel agents abroad who are under the scanner of the police here?
Well, let it be whosoever is under a scanner. I'll not like to talk here, but definitely we'll take action as per law.
So are you
And
taking
we
it
take
up with
cooperation
the,
of
are you
everyone.
taking it up with the countries where these people are operating?
See, we are having good coordination with Canada, with coordination with UK. I'll only say this
Right.
much at
Mr.
this
Slessor,
stage.
before we close, I just want to check with you. You see, all these are steps to check illegal migration. But don't you think more steps need to be taken to encourage legal migration? I'm sure there are students wanting to go abroad for studies, there are people who want to go out on work visas. I don't think enough of that is done. I believe Haryana has taken certain steps.
You mean the center for helping to
That's right. They've
educate
opened
people?
certain centers.
Yeah, I think that was in fact opened with the assistance of the International Organization of Migration, and I think that is a good idea. I've met with them, and I think they're doing a fabulous job. They do a lot of work with people who are specifically going to the Middle East, who are going as temporary workers. All information is what's needed. And I agree that's part of the information that's needed.
Right. Mr. Babra, just before you close, yes?
Yeah, in fact, on this Migrant Resource Center, actually this is the Ministry of Overseas Indian Affairs, and they are offering to states. I think some Kerala has done it.
Do we have such a center in Punjab?
Punjab we don't have right now, but they have offered to Punjab, and definitely it may come
I
up
think
in due
Mr.
course.
Malhotra, in Haryana they also have some kind of orientation centers for people who are migrating.
Absolutely, they have employment bureaus. In fact, Mr. Sandhu, one more point that comes to my mind is the Punjab government, having done so much work, they could well appeal to corporate business houses as part of corporate social responsibility to come forward and sponsor these awareness campaigns going down to the grassroots level. In fact, it helps them if they tell people it's not a land of milk and honey, pound sterling or Canadian dollars will not fall the moment you land at the airport. You tell them that the opportunity lies here, you work here, it builds up the employment deficit. And secondly, one more important thing I would like to add on is, before we close this, we could well have an immigration ombudsman. You see, if an aggrieved person who has been through so much trouble.
That's a very valid point. I think, gentlemen, we're running out of time. Thank you very much for joining us. Punjabis are known for their tremendous spirit of enterprise, and this has earned them great success in foreign lands. However, the illegal route to migrate, which thousands have chosen, has resulted in a bad name to them and their place of origin. Punjab government has acted, though belatedly, to enact a law to check this trend with a heavy hand. But the key to its success depends on its implementation. With that, we end this edition of Day and Night News Prime Debate. We meet again tomorrow with another issue. Till then, good luck and goodbye.